Storm surge is already hitting the city of Miami. And before we go to Bryan Llenas, Bryan, I'm coming to you in just a moment. We've been getting some tweets. I got a tweet from JJ Mike who says, we're visiting in Miami on vacation and are riding it out. Crazy wind, trees down, power out already. His concern is about the windows, and he's hoping they'll be able to ride it out. What are you experiencing there, Bryan?
Yeah, we're about to. It looks like we're about to get a squall here, a pretty powerful squall based on the radar, and that's what we're seeing from the outer bands. I just want to tell you guys, this 30 to 50 mile an hour winds, where we sometimes get these gusts that push you back, that feel more like 53, 55, if not more. And when you look over here, this is why it's so dangerous. Look at this. This is a panel from where we're standing, which is underneath the Miami Metro rail here in downtown. And if Guy over here, the photographer, will show you, this is where these dangerous, whoa, sorry, that's where it's coming from on the roof there. You see that? So these panels are breaking off, and the wind is pushing them across the light bulb over here. And so that is why it's dangerous to be out here when it comes to even just 30 to 50 mile an hour winds. That sharp object can go through any windshield, can go through anything. And if you go over here, you'll see the flooding that has increased here. This isn't from the storm surge. This is just from the rain. And it's easily flooded here in downtown Miami. This is Biscayne Boulevard, but the conditions here are about to get even worse based on what we saw on the radar. But again, I can't stress enough that we already have the panels here coming down from the Metro. We'll get a better shot of it over here. You see that, and the light coming out.
And Bryan, that's a very precarious situation. Yeah, it's a very precarious situation that we're looking at there. And I'm glad people are taking heed to stay off the streets. And you have to be out there to do your job, and you're following all the safety guidelines, you and your crew. But how bad can that flooding get there just with the wind damage alone?
Well, honestly, they expected here flooding when the first forecast was coming out of upwards of 6 feet. Look, Biscayne Bay is right there. We're not going to get that 6-foot storm surge, but that bay is right there. And
okay.
We expect the flooding to get worse with the surge and the water. We do expect the water to rise here in downtown.
Well, we see that some of the power is still on, and as we heard from one gentleman through a tweet, the power has gone out where he is staying. Can you imagine that, Bryan? You go to Miami for vacation, and you end up being here in the middle of Hurricane Irma?
Yeah, it's happened to a lot of folks who are trying to get connecting flights actually out, and they got stuck in the Miami airport, believe it or not. There are some folks who had to move to shelters, and they weren't even able to get their baggage. So up and down here, there are people that are taking shelter in hotels, some people without even clothes to last past what they had on them. That's what's happened to a lot of tourists in Miami. So he's not alone, and yes, some 160,000 people in Miami-Dade County have already lost power, down trees and power lines all over the county. And we'll see here, look, the flooding has just increased here. It's gone up by definitely 4 or 5 inches since we've gotten here. And this is just from localized rain. And Miami, this is the kind of thing we're going to start seeing. 24 hours is 20 to 24 hours we're going to be seeing these conditions, if not more. And we can expect things to get worse.
Bryan, you're from Florida. Have you ever seen it this bad? I mean, you've experienced other storms.
Yes, 2005 Hurricane Wilma. I was in Boca Raton, Palm Beach County. That was the worst that I've ever experienced, and that's the worst that this area has experienced. I would say it was the same year we got hit by Katrina as well as Wilma, and those storms really came in together. Wilma kind of hit us twice. So that's the last time, and she was a Category 3 storm. We really got hit by that one. But this is, I think the sustained power of this over time, just over time, 10, 20, going into Monday, is going to really have an effect on the power situation. The good news is that what made Wilma terrible was that people were without power for 2, 3, 4 weeks, and FPL ever since then has put in a ton of money to make sure that the same problems that we encountered with Wilma we don't encounter now, putting power lines in the ground and being able to spot those issues. But people are going to be without power. But you know what, though, Kelly, I got to tell you, this could have been a lot worse here in Miami right now, believe it or not. This is just the outer band, and it's going to be bad, but it's not going to be like what we're going to see on the West Coast. And so keep your guard up here in South Florida, because it's just getting started.
Keep your guard up. It's a sigh of relief for some, but to the west, it's a cause of concern for many. Bryan Llenas, stay safe, please. Our producer, Linda Lombardi, was just saying, I'm concerned about his safety, especially when we see those things flying off the monorail there. Just be careful, sir. We love you. We want you safe and sound.
Thank you, Kelly.
All right, Bryan.